Hi guys, I'm back. Wanted to give you my birth story. Kind of crazy, but baby Micah is here sleeping. She's so cranky today. So on November 6th, I was officially 39 weeks. Went to go see my midwife at my normal scheduled appointment. Begged her to do a membrane sweep, and she decided that 39 weeks was fine and she would do it. The membrane sweep did not hurt at all, actually. When I was looking online, a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, it hurt so bad. I bled so much afterwards. It was just like horrible, but it wasn't bad at all. I actually laughed the whole time because the way she was like digging in there, I was just visualizing somebody digging in their nose and I couldn't stop laughing. So we did that. That was at 11:15 a.m. And right after that, she said to make sure I didn't sit still for too long, that I kind of stayed on my feet, moved around. It would help help Micah settle down more and kind of get things started. So I went straight to the mall, walked around the mall. My sister and my dad were both here, which was such an amazing feeling and blessing to have them here. Both of them, including my best friend actually, who had already went back home, have missed the birth of my last two kids. So it was pretty awesome that they were able to be here. So like I said, we walked the mall. I did some squats.
Phased, and the baby's head is low enough, so we need to have a baby. So we're in the middle of the mall, walking stairs and doing squats.
And now I'm going to walk up and down the stairs. The only place I could find stairs was the mall. So that's where I'm at. Whew. I went up and down the stairs. We walked around that mall easily for almost 2 hours. After that, my dad was like, we need to, get a pedicure. So it was actually my sister's birthday too. So we got pedicures, we got something to eat, we came home. Actually, no, after we got pedicures, we went to my chiropractic appointment. I wanted to make sure that I got adjusted and that everything was aligned and I was good because I knew I was gonna go into labor. So went to the chiropractor, came home, my kids got home from school. It was just a normal day. We had snack and just kind of hung out for a little bit. And then at 8:31 exactly, because I remember looking at my phone thinking, should I start timing these? Contractions started coming. But they were mild. They weren't like super, super painful. And I was like, okay, I'll wait until they're more consistent. So and they were at that point like 3 minutes apart. So after an hour of that, they were still tolerable. So I decided to go ahead and take a bath to relax to see if they would stop. So I took a bath. I was in the bathtub for maybe 20 minutes and they got stronger. And I was like, oh crap. Okay, this is it. Like, she's gonna come. So backstory with the bath thing. My middle child, Naomi, was born in the bathtub at the hospital. Wasn't planned at all. It just happened that way. What I've been told is that the water kind of helps relax your body and it relaxes your cervix and allows everything to just kind of happen. So I didn't want to stay in the bathtub too long because I wasn't trying to have Micah at home. And nobody trying to clean up that mess. So anyways, that was about 9:30, 9:45. I got out of the bathtub and I was like, all right, let me kind of get myself prepared. So I double checked my diaper bag, make sure I had everything that I wanted to packed. Excuse me. Cleaned my room. I folded some clothes. And my dad and my sister were just like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. Like, are you sure? Because I've been to labor and delivery like 3 times and been sent home. And I was like, no, this is it. Like, I'm sure. So I decided that I was going to try to take a nap so I can get some rest. I laid down and couldn't fall asleep. The contractions were just way too close together. So at about 11:15 p.m., I went to Mike and I was like, hey, let's just go ahead and go. Because they're going to make us sit there for 2 hours anyway so they can see that there's been some progression. So we went to labor and delivery, got there actually at 11:15.
Because we're back again. The date is November 6th, 11:40. Daddy said the baby's coming. She whispered in my ear 3 nights ago. 7. So you know Micah's coming.
They checked me, I was still 3 centimeters dilated, which is what I was earlier, 12 hours earlier, when I was at the doctor's. So they said to go ahead and just walk for a while, and then they would come back and check me in 2 hours. So Mike and I walked the hospital for 2 hours. It's a small hospital, so we just walked in circles. And after that 2 hours, when they checked me, I was 5 centimeters. Great. So now I was going to be admitted.
It is now 2:45 on November 7th. 5 centimeters, and contractions are getting a little strong.
Are you feeling like the water's like super flowing and you want to get in the hospital? Because it's full enough now that you could.
And I was super happy. So we texted my sister and just said, hey, you know, once I get to about 7 centimeters, because we just live down the street from the hospital, then you guys can pack up and, you know, come to the hospital, whatever. So there was no sleeping for me. By this time, it's now, you know, 1 o'clock in the morning, after 1 o'clock. And I am in my room, and my midwife kept saying, you know, do you want to get some rest? Do you want to get some rest? Try to get a little nap in, even if it's just 20 minutes, it'll make a big difference. And I was like, okay, I'll try. So when I laid down, the contractions got way worse. It was just, I knew I wasn't going to be able to tolerate it laying down.
It's 5:40 a.m. on November 7th. We're now 8 centimeters and tired.
I had to keep moving. So I decided to skip out on the nap. I got on the birthing ball, bounced around. I was sitting on the edge of the bed, like trying to fall asleep, couldn't fall asleep. So I decided to just walk. And I prayed, and I, you know, just wanted to really be in tune with my body and do what my body wanted me to do. And the contractions were much more bearable while I was walking. So what was really funny is that when the contractions would hit, I would start marching in place. Not quite sure why, but it helped. I mean, that's why I did it, because it helped. But I've never like marched in place like that during labor. So my husband was just kind of like, you know, what are you doing? Like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know. But he did an amazing job. I don't like to be asked a lot of questions. And he likes to ask a lot of questions. So while I was laboring, I was really quiet. I didn't want the nurses to talk to me. I didn't want the midwives to talk to me. I just wanted to be one with my body and connect with my baby and get her out. So I walked and walked and walked all night, actually. And then I remember the nurse saying, when it's just about time, your body will allow you about 15 to 30 minutes to rest. And I was like, what the hell is she talking about? What are you talking about? Like, what's going to happen? The contractions are just going to stop? Are you kidding me? Whatever. So I was just like, yeah, okay, you know, whatever. And about 6:45, it was 6:45 a.m. now. So I've been laboring this whole time. The contractions literally like stopped. And I was like, huh. And so she's like, just lay down. I'm like, okay. So I lay down. I fell asleep for 10 minutes and it felt like 10 hours, y'all. I was so tired. I was like delirious. So every time there was a loud noise, it would startle me and I would jump. And I was awake. This is while I was walking. I was basically like halfway asleep while I was laboring because I just couldn't lay down and I was so tired. I was just like drugged. It was crazy. Anywho, I forgot to mention I had no meds. So my group B test came back negative, which means I didn't have to have any antibiotics. So I decided that I didn't want an IV for just in case. I didn't want any Pitocin. I wanted my body to just naturally do everything that it's meant to do on its own. So at about, let's see, about 7 o'clock, the midwife came back in and said, hey, let's go ahead and check you. I think that your body is letting you know that it's just about ready. I'm not going to break your water. I'm just going to wait for you to say, hey, I'm ready to start pushing. And I said, okay, that's fine. So she checked me and I was 8 centimeters dilated and my bag of water was bulging. So my husband kept saying, I want you to take a bath. I want you to take a bath. Now, I think that his logic was he has yet to see me push because of the way that our kids were born. So he was like, man, the bathtub is easy. Like, I don't got to see nothing for real. She just kind of slip out and you're going to be done. And I was like, fine, go ahead and run the bath water. Not a big deal. So the water, for whatever reason, takes like 20 minutes to fill up the bathtub at the hospital. So while the water's running, again, the midwife checks me. I'm 8 centimeters. And she was like, do you want me to break your water or do you want it to let it break on its own? And I was like, just wait. So she leaves. That's at 7 o'clock. So at 7:10, I decide just go ahead and break my water and then I'll get in the bathtub. And she was like, all right, that's fine. So she comes back, she breaks my water. No joke. She breaks my water and I'm on my side. I don't know why I'm on my side. And I'm like clinging to the bed as she breaks my water. She gets to the door, which is probably 5 steps away, and I scream, somebody help me, help me, help me, help me. And my sister runs to my side, and I feel like my eyes are closed this whole time. So I grab onto the hospital bed, but at the same time I can feel cloth, so I have somebody's shirt. And I'm like pulling and pulling and pulling. And she's like, it's okay, Eb, it's okay, it's okay. And then I can hear the nurses saying to the midwife, come back, come back, come back. So she runs back in the room and she's like, this baby is coming, get the cart, get everything that we need in the room. Because they had pushed the cart out of the room because the kids were in there. My dad was in there. My sister was in there. It was just a lot of people in the room. So I'm still on my side and she's like, I need you to move to your back. But it was like my body was in such pain that I couldn't like roll over. And I just kept screaming at her, get her out of me, get her out, get her out. Like I was a complete mad woman. And I didn't scream with my other two. So it was really weird that I was screaming. And I remember having my husband's hand with my left hand. I was holding his hand and I was like squeezing it and squeezing it. And I must have been squeezing it hard because he kept switching hands. And so every time he would try to like pull his hand away, I would just like, no, no. So it was just really, really funny. I pushed for 10 minutes because she broke my water at 7:10 and Micah was born at 7:20. So it was very, very quick. Now, let me tell y'all something. I have never, ever experienced the ring of fire that people talk about. And maybe it's because, I don't know why. I don't know why. She was a much bigger baby, 2 pounds bigger than my last two. So maybe that has something to do with it. But that was no joke. When I say no joke, I literally felt like somebody had set my vagina on fire. Like, somebody set my vagina on fire because that mess was burning. And I've read about it. I've heard other people experience it, like my friends and everything. And they're like, man, it's no joke. And I'm like, I don't ever remember a ring of fire that people talk about. And it's as the head is crowning, it just burns until the head gets out. And I don't know if it's like the stretching. I don't know exactly what it is that makes it do that. But that ain't no joke, y'all. It ain't no joke. So either way, my baby was born at 7:20 a.m. She was 7 pounds, 2 ounces, and 20 inches long. So it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. I loved my experience with having a midwife. I feel like sometimes doctors can be pushy, and she was very much with whatever it is you want to do, Ebony, do it. Whatever your body is telling you to do it, and I will fully support that. She laid her on my chest. We did skin to skin, and she waited for the umbilical cord to stop pulsing before it was clamped and cut, which was exactly what I wanted. We did have a little bit of a hard time getting the placenta out, but I mean, it came out. Eventually, it came out. That took probably like 15 minutes within itself. So we didn't record the whole thing partially because I was in so much pain and was not talking to anybody. I wasn't able to be like, hey, you know, set the camera up, do this, do that. So once again, we don't really have a whole lot of footage. My husband does have some video updates that he did, so I will insert those into the end of this. And then we also have, which I think is pretty cool, the midwife showed us the placenta, and she actually went through and described the functions of the placenta, what each little, I don't know, vein or like the sac that the baby is in. She like literally pulls up the sac and is like, okay, this is how it's enclosed, and you know, this is where the baby was at. She explained it to my kids.
All right.
So this is the mom's side, and you can see the little calcifications. And then if we turn it over, so this is the sac that the baby was in. So Micah fit inside the sac.
Wow.
So that's what she was in, and then her umbilical cord was then also, you know, inside there with her. And if we turn this out to the baby's side, you can see all of the vessels. Managed to turn it out.
Right, Mike?
It's pretty awesome. And then, yeah, and so this is, people say it's like a tree of life, with the umbilical cord being the trunk and then all of the branches with the vessels. So, yeah. And interesting fact, the placenta comes from Dad's DNA.
Oh, I didn't know
So, yeah.
That's a healthy placenta.
It grew this baby.
And I thought, this is freaking awesome. Like, what doctor would have done that to make sure that you were educated on what your body was doing and what your baby, you know, was looking like when she was inside? And it was pretty awesome. It was an amazing experience. So blessed, so thankful to have had friends and family come. My best friend was here 2.5 weeks ago. And we were hoping that, excuse me, we thought that Micah would come then, because both of my kids have come at 37 weeks, but that wasn't the case this time. So she missed the labor again, and the delivery again. But I was so blessed to have had people who care enough to travel and hang by my side, help me do laundry and, you know, further prepare for the baby and cook meals for us and just let me rest. So my dad left the day Micah was born. He left that night to go back home, which was when his flight was already scheduled to leave. So it was just, God is good. It was just an amazing, amazing experience to be able to have my dad and my sister here, and my kids. Elijah did not stay in the room. He was freaked out, so him and my dad left the room. Naomi was in the room for maybe 5 minutes, the first 5 minutes of me pushing. And then after that, I think that my screaming scared her, so the nurse took her out and brought him back in afterwards. But it was a blessing. Having a child is a blessing. And especially being able to do it with your kids in the room and with your family. I mean, I'm really, really close to my dad. I'm really, really close to my sister. And so it was great. So I'm going to try to show you guys baby Micah, who is sleeping because she was cranky, y'all. Let me see if I can show you her. You can see her a little bit. She's been having some gas pains, so she's in this little wrap, sleeping it on out. But that is my labor and delivery story. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Love you guys.